We lost a huge case in the Supreme Court. There is no silver lining. What now has to happen is we regroup. We have to inform as many fellow citizens as possible what is in store for them, their freedom, their health care, their lives, the lives of their children and grandchildren, if this stands. And we have to stop deluding ourselves if we are to beat this back. We can fight to repeal Obamacare, and we must. But we have to win the next election big. And we can't tolerate any Republican capitulating in advance of this fight or accepting any aspect of Obama. Folks, I'm sorry. Realville, it's all got to go. This business, well, I like keeping my kid on pre-existing. We're not even talking about insurance. If we're going to give people with pre-existing conditions insurance, we can deal with those two things separately and in a much smaller way after we toss this whole thing. We've got to toss the whole thing. We don't need 2,700 pages, constitution-altering, life-altering changes to our freedom and liberty for those two small little things that can be fixed individually by themselves. Same thing with the uninsured. If Chief Justice Roberts had wanted to throw this back to Congress, you know what he would have done? He would have repealed it. And then he would have said, if you really want it, you go back and do it right. If he had been paying attention to the Constitution, if he really wanted to throw this back to the legislative branch, where the elected representatives of the people take care of this, he would have repealed it, and he would have said to the elected representatives of the people, you presented us with an unconstitutional bill, and none of it stands, and you go back and you fix it. Instead, he upheld it. I don't care how. Penalty, tax, what? He upheld it. It's the law of the land. And now we're told there's a silver lining. We've got to go in. And that's the way it ought to be anyway, Rush, or people ought to be. Well, we're dealing with corruption everywhere we turn in Washington, D.C. And we're dealing in some people with an attitude that's less than fully developed and fully committed to overturning this and repealing it. Chief Justice Roberts upheld this. He didn't throw it back to the legislative branch so the elected representatives of the people could do it again. He upheld it. It is the law of the land. The damage that was done to the Constitution cannot be fixed by repealing Obamacare. That's going to stand no matter what we end up doing with Obamacare. Chief Justice Roberts and the four other liberal activists on the court have blown yet another giant hole through the Constitution. How do we fix that? Well, there's a way. There's a way. We insist on originalists being nominated to the court, period. But that is for another time. He doesn't need to comment on any case when he's nominated any prospective judge. But he's got to tell us who he is, or she is. We have our work cut out for us, and these semantic games and distractions, self-delusions create confusion and not going to get us anywhere.